Have you ever felt like your inner world is a relentless storm, tossed about by the opinions of others, provoked by daily insults, and feeling controlled by your own reactive emotions? We live our lives striving, defending, and reacting, only to find ourselves drained, anxious, and spiritually exhausted at the end of the day. We long for a peace that cannot be shaken by circumstances, and a strength that cannot be broken by criticism. But it always seems just out of reach. But what if I told you that this unshakable life is not only possible, but it is your divine inheritance as a person of faith and wisdom? The secret is not in trying harder, but in understanding deeper. It lies in two foundational pillars. First, truly knowing your unshakable worth and identity, and second, using that identity as the foundation upon which you master your own spirit. In this message, we will embark on a deep journey into these profound truths, unlocking the principles that will transform you from a soul in chaos into a fortress of unshakable peace. Chapter 1: The Fortress of Self-Control. Mastering your spirit. The world often mistakes strength for loudness. It equates power with the ability to dominate a conversation, to win an argument, or to forcefully assert one's will. But true, enduring strength, the kind that brings peace and commands genuine respect, is not found in overpowering others. It is found in the profound and difficult art of overpowering yourself. Mastering your spirit is the ultimate act of self-governance. It is the ability to remain calm when others lose control, to walk in peace when chaos surrounds you, and to hold on to your joy even when the world relentlessly tries to steal it away. When you master your spirit, you sever the puppet strings that circumstances and other people have attached to your soul. You are no longer a slave to your fleeting emotions, no longer a victim of your past experiences. You stand firm in the quiet confidence that no matter what happens around you, it does not have to dictate what happens within you. You become unmoved, unshaken, and anchored in a deep, internal peace. That the psychology of reaction. Think back to the last time anger took control of your actions. Perhaps a co-worker disrespected you in a meeting, and without thinking, you fired back a sarcastic or defensive remark. Maybe a driver cut you off in traffic, and you allowed a surge of rage to dictate your behavior for the next 10 minutes. In that moment, your reaction may have felt justified, even powerful. But what did it truly accomplish? Did it bring a lasting resolution? Did it restore your peace? Or did it only escalate the situation, poison your own spirit with stress hormones, like cortisol and adrenaline, and leave you feeling drained, resentful, and regretful long after the moment had passed? There is a powerful principle at play here that the enemy of your soul understands perfectly. The world teaches us that if someone disrespects you, you must put them in their place. But reacting in anger never leads to true victory. It only adds more fuel to the fire, creating a cycle of escalating conflict. The enemy wants you to react. The moment you give in to impulsive anger, he gains control. He knows that if he can make you angry, he can cloud your judgment. If he can get you offended, he can steal your focus from what truly matters. And if he can get you to act out of raw, unfiltered emotion, he can easily lead you away from the path of wisdom and purpose. The strategy of restraint. Mastering your spirit is not about becoming a passive doormat. It is not about ignoring injustice or allowing others to take advantage of you. It is about the profound wisdom of knowing that you do not have to fight every battle you are invited to. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every argument is worth your precious time and energy. Not every provocation requires your participation. When you truly understand this, you begin to walk in a new and formidable kind of power, the power of self-restraint. People will say things to provoke you. They will try to push your buttons. They will test your patience, sometimes intentionally, sometimes out of their own brokenness. But when you are in control of your spirit, their words lose their power over you. Their provocations become like arrows bouncing off a shield. You don't have to defend yourself, because you know who you are. You don't have to prove anything, because you are secure in your identity. And you don't have to seek revenge, because you trust that justice, in its perfect form, belongs to a higher authority. Think of the strongest, most respected people you know. They are rarely the ones who explode in anger or let their emotions dictate their every decision. They are the ones who can stand in the middle of a conflict and remain calm. They are the ones who can hear a cutting insult and not be shaken from their center. They are the ones who consistently choose wisdom over reaction, peace over strife, and patience over frustration. That is real, undeniable strength. The wisdom of walking away. Controlling your spirit also means developing the wisdom to know when to simply walk away. Some battles are not meant for you to fight. Some conversations are not worth engaging in. There is an old proverb that says, arguing with a fool only proves there are two. When you recognize that engaging with certain people or situations will only lower you to their level of negativity and chaos, you will start choosing to protect your peace over winning an argument. There are people who thrive on drama. They feed on conflict. They look for ways to stir up division and love to pull others into their web of negativity. You do not have to participate. When you control your spirit, you refuse to give them the emotional reaction they are desperately seeking. Your calm becomes their confusion, a practical guide to mastering your spirit. Mastering your spirit is a daily practice, like strengthening a muscle. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and a deep understanding that your emotions are signals, not dictators. Practice the sacred pause. When you feel triggered, before you speak or act, force yourself to take a long, slow, deep breath. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale for 6 counts. This simple physiological act interrupts the fight or flight response in your brain and gives your rational mind a chance to catch up with your emotions. Name the emotion silently. Say to yourself, I am feeling anger right now, or I am feeling the sting of rejection. Naming the emotion separates you from it. You are not anger, you are a person experiencing anger. This creates a space for choice. Question the narrative. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this situation? Often our emotional reaction is not to the event itself, but to the interpretation we have attached to it. Challenge that interpretation. Is it the absolute truth, or is there another way to see it? Choose your response intentionally. Once you have paused, named the emotion, and questioned the narrative, you are in a position of power. You can now choose a response that aligns with your values and your purpose, rather than being a slave to an impulsive reaction. You can choose silence. You can choose to walk away. You can choose to respond with a calm, disarming question. Imagine how much lighter and more peaceful your life would be if you stopped reacting to every offense. Imagine the freedom you would feel if you no longer allowed the words and actions of others to disturb your inner peace. The moment you decide to control your spirit, you take back the power that you have been unconsciously giving away. You become unshakable, immovable, and steadfast. You become a person of wisdom, of patience, and of a true profound strength that is not of this world. Part 2. The freedom of release. Giving your offenses to God. There are many burdens that people carry through life, but one of the heaviest and most spiritually corrosive is the burden of offense, anger, and the simmering need for justice. When someone mistreats you, when they speak against you, when they betray your trust, the natural human reaction is to hold on to that pain. We replay their words over and over in our minds. We imagine all the things we should have said in our defense. We allow a bitter root of resentment to take hold in the soil of our hearts. But carrying that immense weight does nothing to harm the person who wronged you. It only poisons you. It steals your peace. It drains your energy, and it keeps you trapped in a miserable, exhausting cycle of resentment. That is why the greatest thing you can do for your own soul is to learn the art of giving your offenses to God. The true meaning of letting go, giving your pain to God, does not mean you ignore what happened. It does not mean you pretend it didn't hurt or act as if the injustice doesn't matter. It is a conscious, deliberate, and often difficult decision to release the burden of that pain into the hands of the one who sees all things and who judges righteously. It means you choose to trust that God is your ultimate defender and that He will handle the situation with perfect justice, and in His perfect time, you are releasing your right to be the judge and jury. Too often, people waste years of their lives and immense amounts of emotional energy trying to fight battles that were never theirs to fight in the first place. They strive to prove themselves to their critics. They try to make people see their side of the story. They plot, whether consciously or not, to get even with those who have wronged them, but in doing so, they only hurt themselves more deeply. God did not call you to carry the crushing weight of every offense. He did not create you to live in a state of constant frustration over things you ultimately cannot control. He called you to walk in peace, to trust in His sovereignty, and to leave justice in His capable hands. When you hold on to anger, it builds inside you like a toxic pressure, poisoning your heart and clouding your mind. But when you release it, when you truly let it go, you experience a profound freedom that no amount of revenge could ever bring. Overcoming the winning delusion. People struggle with this concept because they believe that if they let an offense go, they are letting the other person win. They feel that if they forgive, they are allowing someone to get away with what they did. But that is a fundamental misunderstanding of spiritual power. Letting go does not mean you are approving of the wrongdoing. It means you are refusing to let the wrongdoing continue to have power over you. It means you are trusting that God sees every injustice and that He will deal with it in His perfect timing. Some wounds are incredibly deep. Some betrayals cut so severely that it feels impossible to move on. But you must understand this. The longer you hold on to that pain, the more control it has over your life. You may think you are punishing the other person by holding on to your resentment, but the truth is, you are only punishing yourself. In many cases, they have moved on with their life, while you remain a prisoner to your anger. They sleep peacefully at night, while you stay awake, replaying the past in an endless, tormenting loop. But when you surrender that hurt to God, when you say, Lord, I give this pain, this anger, this need for revenge to you, you take back your peace, you take back your power. God is just. He is not blind to what was done to you. He knows every word that was spoken, every action that was taken, and every moment you suffered in silence. But He also knows that His plan for your future is infinitely bigger than the pain of your past. He knows that if you stay stuck in resentment, you will never be able to walk in the fullness of the destiny He has for you. That is why He asks you to release it. Not because He doesn't care about your pain, but because He cares about you too much to let you stay trapped in a prison of offense. The practical steps of release letting go is a choice, and it is a process. It is not always easy, and it often does not happen overnight. But it is a choice you can make. Acknowledge the hurt. Be honest with yourself and with God. Name the pain. Lord, I was deeply hurt when this person said this. I felt betrayed by this action. Don't minimize it or spiritualize it away. Make a conscious decision. Say out loud, Lord, I choose to forgive person's name for the specific offense. I release them from the debt I feel they owe me. I release my right to hold on to this anger. Surrender the need for justice. Pray, God, I trust you to be the righteous judge. I place this situation and this person into your hands. I trust you to handle it with your perfect wisdom and justice. Repeat as necessary. Forgiveness is often a process, especially for deep wounds. Every time the memory of the pain resurfaces, every time the enemy tempts you to pick up that grudge again, you must make the conscious choice to surrender it to God again. Each time you choose to surrender your hurt to God, you grow stronger. You begin to see that no person, no insult, no betrayal is worth sacrificing your peace over. You realize that the battle is not yours to fight, but His. You will not waste your energy trying to fight for yourself, because you know that He fights for you. You will not allow the actions of others to steal your joy, because you know that your peace comes from Him alone. Part 3. The unshakable anchor of identity. Ability to master your spirit and release offenses is directly and inextricably tied to the strength and security of your personal identity. All of our inner turmoil, at its root, stems from a crisis of identity. We have built our sense of self on the shifting sands of worldly validation, and so we are constantly shaken by the winds of circumstance and the waves of public opinion. God is calling you to move your house off the sand and onto the unshakable rock of who He says you are. 3.1. The world's false mirrors from the moment we are born. The world holds up a series of false mirrors before us and tells us, this is who you are. The first mirror is performance. It tells you that your worth is based on what you do, what you achieve, and how successful you are. You are valuable if you get the promotion, if you excel in your field, if you are a good parent or spouse. But if you fail, if you fall short, if you make a mistake, this mirror reflects back an image of worthlessness. And so, you live on a relentless treadmill of striving, terrified of the moment you can no longer perform, because you have been taught that your value is synonymous with your accomplishments. The second false mirror is opinion. This mirror tells you that your worth is determined by what other people think of you. You are valuable if they approve of you, if they praise you, if you have many friends and followers. Your sense of self rises and falls with every compliment and every criticism. You become a chameleon, changing who you are to please the crowd, terrified of being rejected or misunderstood. You give other flawed, broken human beings the godlike power to define your existence. The third false mirror is appearance. The world screams that your worth is tied to how you look, your age, your weight, your beauty. It presents an impossible airbrush standard and then shames you for not meeting it. You spend your life fighting a losing battle against time, feeling less valuable with every new wrinkle, every gray hair, every sign that you are a mortal human being. These mirrors, performance, opinion, and appearance are cruel and unforgiving masters. They are designed by the enemy to keep you in a constant state of insecurity, striving, and fear. They are a foundation of sand, And when the storms of life come, and they will come, the house built upon them will inevitably collapse. God is calling you today to shatter these false mirrors. He is calling you to turn away from the world's definition of your worth and to embrace the eternal, unchangeable truth of your divine identity in Him. 3.2. The unchanging truth of your divine value or true worth has nothing to do with what you do, what people say, or what you see in the mirror. Your worth was established before the foundation of the world, and it is rooted in three unshakable truths. First, you were created by God in His image. Genesis 1:27 is not just a line of poetry, it is your spiritual birth certificate. You were intentionally designed by the Creator of the universe. He did not make a mistake. You are not a cosmic accident who fearfully and wonderfully made you, knitting you together in your mother's womb. This means your intrinsic value comes not from your abilities, but from your architect. To devalue yourself is to insult the craftsmanship of the master. Your life is not your own invention, it is a divine masterpiece. Second, you were purchased by Christ with His blood. After humanity fell, we were separated from God, slaves to sin, but God, in His infinite love, did not leave us there. He paid the ultimate price to buy you back. 1 Corinthians 6:20 says, "You were bought at a price. That price was not gold or silver, but the precious, perfect blood of His own Son, Jesus Christ." Think about that. The God of the universe looked at you in your brokenness and said, "You are worth the life of my Son." No one in the world can place a value on you that high. Your worth is not up for negotiation. It has been settled for all eternity at the cross. Rejection from people cannot change the fact that you have been accepted by God. The world may call you worthless, but heaven calls you priceless. Third, you are called by name, for His purpose. Your existence is not random. God has a specific, unique, divine purpose for your life that no one else can fulfill. He knew you before you were born, and He set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." That promise is not just for Jeremiah, it is for every child of God. He has a calling on your life, an assignment with your name on it. Your identity is not just sinner, saved by grace, it is chosen vessel of the Most High God. When you begin to build your life on this threefold foundation, create a redeemer and call of the false mirrors of the world lose their power. Your performance doesn't define you, because your Creator already validated you. The opinions of others don't control you, because the blood of Christ already purchased you. Your physical appearance doesn't determine your